Hey everybody, Brannon Beliso here. Success never sleeps. Success never sleeps. Episode 14. I'm here with you. This is my special Super Show version. I've gotten a lot of emails and personal messages. People saying they miss me at the Super Show. I'm very grateful for that. I really, really am. I'm humbled by it. I heard that somebody actually referenced me in one of their webinars today as one of the philosophers of our industry, and they actually did it in their talk. So thank you, Rick Rando. I really appreciate that, sir. That's just too kind, and it's very humbling. So I'm here with you. I feel like I need to be with my peeps. Since I'm not at the Super Show with you, I feel like I need to be here for you and be with you. Maybe it's more me than you. Maybe it's just I need to connect with you guys and say, hey, I miss you. I miss that I'm not at the Super Show this year. As I shared, I was in Jamaica for a buddy's wedding, and that took a little bit of a precedent. Century decided with the 15th year anniversary they wanted to shake things up and give new speakers an opportunity. Hey, if you get a chance, go see Michael tomorrow, okay? Michael Rashad, go check him out. I just dig the guy, and I believe his heart's in the right place. He wants to help people in the industry. So if you get a chance, go see him tomorrow. And when you go see him tomorrow, tell him Brannon Beliso said to come see you. He'll like that. He'll like that. He called me tonight and asked me for some pointers, and I was humbled by that because I think he's awesome in his own right. So to reach out to me and ask me for any tips on speaking, I was very humbled, and I felt very proud and honored that he would call upon me for that. So success never sleeps, right? This is my Super Show edition, episode number 14. And I was hanging out tonight with a friend I hadn't seen in a long time. Very, very successful CEO of some big nonprofits. She sits on the board of several big billion-dollar companies. And we just talked a lot tonight about our industry and what she sees what I'm doing. You know, because what I've basically done, I'm a heretic. I took something that didn't exist. Well, it existed, but people weren't very successful with it. I took the business model of no contracts, no upgrades, no belt fees, no enrollment fees, no black belt clubs. I took that model and I made it profitable because I saw the value in it immediately. But what I see is the people who execute that type of business model don't profit. How can I say that any other way? They don't profit. They starve for the art. They wear it like a badge of honor. And if that's okay, if that's their intent. I'm just saying if your goal is to be a profitable business and you want to do it with no contracts, no upgrades, no belt fees, no enrollment fees, those different things, then you better be awesome at what you do. You better have great curriculum, you have great service, a great team that delivers it, a great environment. You have to have, the whole package. So that's what I've done. I don't know anybody in our industry that does it the way I do, that is successful at it as I am. But you know what that began with? Values. It was all based upon my personal values. I just thought about my consumer. And I said to myself, if I'm a mom and I've got a 5-year-old kid, would I rather have contracts or month to month? Every mom I asked, it was a no-brainer. It really was, the majority, right? And then I said, well, what about belt testing fees? Would you like that or not like it? I said, of course not. I have a budget. I'm on a budget. I want to know every month exactly what I'm going to spend. And I find sometimes, when they belt test, I got to pay an additional fee, buy weapons, all those different things. I found for me, again, that was another obstacle. So see, it was really about understanding my client, understanding my demographic, and then how to serve them better. That's what it's about. And really, so when you talk about marketing, you hear that all the time. Don't market from the way you see it. Market from the way your consumer will see it. Market from the way your demographic will see you. You feel me? And so if I ask you that question, I want you to respond and say yes or no. Those moms that are out there, because I see a couple moms are on right now. If you were to enroll your child in the martial arts, would you be more satisfied doing it with a 1-year contract or a month-to-month? Go. Type it in there. 1-year contract or month-to-month? Go. Type it in, type it in. I'm going to get a sip of tea here. What do you think? Moms, type it in there for me. I see I got a couple moms on the line. Would you like month to month if you were enrolling your child in the martial arts, or would you prefer a 1-year contract? Go. Yeah. Oh, there you go. A couple of people coming aboard. So with that said, I mean, that's really what it's about. No matter what field you're in, if you're in a dry cleaners, you're a painter, month to month. Thank you. Thank you, Suzanne. Thank you for that support. And that's what I did. I polled moms. I asked moms everywhere I went, supermarket, Starbucks, anywhere. And 99.9% of the moms said month to month. Ding, 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 ding. No brainer, right? So I went with month to month. Made sense to me. Because I think what that does for my team and I, it challenges us to serve people on a higher level. If I have you locked into a 1-year contract, whether I teach you well or not, you're obligated to pay me. Fair enough? Nothing in that service agreement says we'll teach at this level, and if you're not satisfied, then the contract's null and void. I mean, I don't know too many contracts that say that because it wouldn't favor people who love contracts. So that's what I've done, and that's what my friend was sharing with me today, is what I've done is something that doesn't exist. I took this type of business model and I made it profitable. Now, you know why it became profitable? Because it fit my values and I believed in it. So if it resonates with your values and you believe in it deeply, you can turn anything into profit. Anything into profit. But again, you need to be mindful of that, okay? So that's why you hear me talk a lot about that, and I want to do that for you tonight. I know a lot of you are either out partying in Vegas, or a lot of you are sitting in your room right now, going over your notes and reviewing what you learned today and getting prepared for tomorrow. Which is it? Come on now. If you're sitting in your hotel room in Vegas right now, reviewing your notes, getting ready to get a good night's sleep to prepare for tomorrow, type it in there. Come on, I see we got a lot of people coming on, and I know a lot of you are from Vegas, because I'm not in Vegas this year, right? So I got to give you something, so I'm here with you tonight. So how many of you that are at that Super Show right now are sitting in your room reviewing your notes and getting ready for tomorrow's seminars? Oh, I see people leaving. A couple of people got... What? Are you sitting at the table? Are you sitting at the slot machines? Are you at a disco right now watching this? Huh? Thank you, Matt. You're not in Vegas. Oh, you didn't go to the Super Show. Man, it seems like everybody's there. Facebook makes it seem like everybody's at the Super Show. So, Matt, is there a reason why you didn't go to the Super Show? It's like the biggest event, they say, right? So we had that discussion, and that's what I'm going to challenge every one of you to do. When we talk about being an innovator, when we talk about, it's thrown around so loosely. I'm an innovator, I'm an innovator, I'm an innovator. What I'm going to ask you to do to build trust with your clients, to build trust with your parents, to build trust with your students, let's not use the word innovator. How about we use the word, I'm somebody who cares. I'm somebody that really wants to serve you well. I'm somebody that's going to make sure that I wake up every day and strive to satisfy your goals and what you're looking for your child. How about that? Matt, you don't have anyone to cover classes yet. Well, we need to work on that. We need to change that. I share with people, and I was there at one point too, if the business is totally dependent upon me, or mainly me, if I get sick or hurt, how long would it be before your school closed? Anybody? Type it in there. If you got sick or hurt and couldn't work for an indefinite period of time, how long would it be before your martial arts school closed? Anybody? And while you're typing that in there, let me continue with my thought. So, instead of saying I'm an innovator and, we teach progressive martial arts and, I've got the latest hip, new, groovy, thing that's out there, just show people you care. Genuinely show them that you matter, that they matter to you. Show them that. Yeah, Matt, and when you say you'd be closed in less than a month, I would invest every bit of my time trying to change that. Building that team, getting that rock star yellow belt even, and start training them, plant seeds that this could be a great career, a great business, the whole thing, and then work every day to create that for your team. Create that environment where they could make it their career. The reason people leave our schools and go to college and don't make it a career is because we do not create an environment or paint a picture where that can happen. You feel me? If I saw that this could be my business, if I saw this could be my career and be a great career and make great money, a lot more people would consider it, right? Absolutely. I think so. So I think it's part of our goal to create that vehicle, create that environment for our team. Because if we do, Matt, then we'll be able to grow that team and build that team. But if they look at us and we've got 100 students, we've been around 20 years, they don't look at that as a great career. They look at that as a hobby business that people are just, barely getting by with. So I think it should also be our intent to create a business that people want to work for. So make that your purpose, Matt. Create a business that people want to work for. Grow it that way, and I promise the team will be attracted to you. Cool? So in that, when we speak about being an innovator, somebody said that to me, you're an innovator. I'm a heretic. I'm a heretic. I'm the one guy who goes against everything in this business. Everything they tell you to do, I don't do. And I've turned it into profit, right? And I don't say that to toot my horn. I say that because I want to share that with you, because I believe many people in our industry, at a heart level, it resonates with them to teach great martial arts, and they don't want to do it with contracts, upgrades, belt fees, all the rest. But they're conditioned to believe by the majority of our industry, by many of the higher ups, that the only way you're going to be a sustainable, profitable business is if you do contracts, belt fees, upgrades, upsells, that you're taught that's the only way to do it. And I say, I'm sorry, but that's not the only way to do it. I'm beginning to prove that. We've proven that with 2 locations. I have people out there that are starting to post amazing numbers, and that's because they've shifted from selling to serving. They stop selling stuff and they start serving people at a higher level. And through that process, people trust them more. I don't trust anyone who's trying to sell me something. I don't. That's where you get the used car salesman mentality. Do you trust a car salesman? No way. I got to go talk to my manager, see if we can lower the price. Of course you can. Of course you can. I had that recently. I was looking at an HR service to come in and do some HR stuff for my business. And they said, well, the setup fee is $3,000. And I said, well, what is that $3,000 for? They go, well, that's, our setup fee. That's how we set it up and blah, blah, blah. And my reply to them was, well, what do I get? They go, what do you mean? That's just our setup fee. I said, well, what do I get for $3,000? I'm going to cut you a check for $3,000. What do I get in return? And she looked at me puzzled. She goes, well, that's our setup fee. We charge $3,000 to set this all up. And I went, let me get this straight. If I walk into a Best Buy right now and I give them $3,000, I would walk out of there with a TV or something, correct? Fair enough, right? So I'm going to give you $3,000 to set up my H&R account. What do you do for that? And what value is that to me? And she couldn't put her finger on it. And you know what? 3 or 4 days later, she came back. No, that day she said, we got a closeout special. I can knock 20% off of that. And then later she came back, not even a week later, and said, we'll waive the whole setup fee. I was done. You didn't have me at hello. We were done the minute you dropped that 20% off that $3,000 fee, because that $3,000 fee was probably your commission. So that's why I'm really against enrollment fees. This is your down payment, and then your monthly payments are lower. No, they're not. The amount is still the freaking same. If the contract's for $1,000, let's say for 6 months. So instead of putting down, what is that, $155 a month is what it comes down to. So I give you, so many hundreds dollars, and it's going to cost me $100 a month. It's not cheaper. I'm still paying you the same $1,000 when the day's done. So, to me, that's a smoke and mirror. That's a bait and switch thing again. Say what it is. Say what it is. We say it's $189 for twice a week, $149 for once a week. Done day. That's it. No down payment, no enrollment fee. You pay for the first month. We go month to month. We don't even have a 30-day cancel. All you got to do is come to us today and say, hey, I'm not coming back at the end of the month. Boom, we're not going to charge you August 1st. We do all of those things to challenge myself and my team to step up to the plate and perform better every day. Every day. I'm not going to be complacent. My team's not complacent with the fact I've got you locked into a year contract. You see, so all of that came out of my value system. Now, on the flip side of that, if you believe in contracts and you value it with your whole heart, do it. If you think bell testing fees are something that should happen, do it. It's your space, it's your race, it's not mine. But again, at the end of the day, when you lay your head down on the pillow without rationalizing your behavior, without believing your own hype, are you okay with what you're doing? And if you're not okay with it, then I'm here to show you there is another way. And if my way doesn't work for you, then make your own. Because it is your life, right? But take no prisoners. Don't blame anybody. Be accountable. We had that conversation the other day. So I'm stepping up on you again, and I'm going to share that with you as well. Okay? So Success Never Sleeps. Episode 14. This is my Super Show edition. I want to make sure I get to you guys today. Give you some love, 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 right? What do you got for me? Lay your questions out. Put them down there. Who's got a question for me? Anybody? Type your question in. I want to serve you. Just pretend we're at the Super Show right now. Oh, right. There we are. While I'm waiting for your questions to type in, anybody up in the Seattle area, I will be there July 24th for It's Time Live, sponsored by Rainmaker Martial Arts Software and sponsored by Vision Martial Arts Supply. I'll be up there presenting at Elite Martial Arts, actually in Kirkland, Washington, at Rocky A. Build's Place. I'll be there from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. all day. We're going to cover things like how to earn 285 students in 12 months. That's what we've done in the new location. We've done with a lot of innovative marketing that I'll share with you. Different marketing, unlike anything that we've done in this industry. Some of it's traditional, but a lot of it's really, really different. I'm going to teach you about developing your why, developing that unique brand that you deserve. You know why? Because if we keep regurgitating the same rhetoric, we teach focus, we teach discipline, we're a family martial arts school, and then we all have the same guy kicking in our logo, the silhouette, and our websites are filled with what? Fake testimonials, stock photos. I've said 1,000 times, I'm going to throw up if I see that kid one more time with the spiky hair. There's a new one who's running around and some kid smiling, throwing a punch. And I see it at every website. If it's homogenized, you're exactly the same as everybody else out there. I, as the consumer, base my buying decision upon two things. Who's cheaper and who's closer to my home. You feel me? So you really need to stand out from the crowd. You need to develop that. Big Fortune 500 companies pay hundreds of thousands, even millions of dollars to develop their why, to develop their purpose, to develop their brand and their logo. And you deserve the same. You are a unique person. You have something amazing, and you need to communicate that story and message properly. You feel me? So I'm getting ready. We're almost there. I'd say we're a month away from launching our new website. Wait until you see it. I don't believe you should lease your website. I believe you should own your website, and it should be filled with your pictures, professionally done. They should be filled with your parents' testimonials. That can be proven. They should be rich in content that's not just based upon selling, but to really promote the benefits of what you do. I see the big one I see out there right now is steel trap memory. I'm a mom with a 6-year-old kid. How can developing a steel trap memory resonate with me at all? What do you think of that? Steel trap memory. So I believe you're better than that, but you got to do that hard work, right? Why would you leave your business and the success of your business in the hands of somebody else? I wouldn't, especially when it comes to my website. So I've spent the time, I've invested the money, so I learn about coding, SEO optimization. It's been a slow, tedious process, but I'm getting there. And when we launch this new site, we'll discuss that, and I'll share with you why I believe you should own your site, what it should really cost you to do that, how to maintain SEO optimization. Again, it's a learned thing. There was a time you were a white belt, right? We don't come into this world knowing about Facebook ads, SEO optimization, or any of those other things we need to know for marketing. We learn it. Just like the guy who's telling you that they're the expert and you need to pay him X amount of dollars a month. Guess what? There was a time that person was a 5-year-old kid and didn't know anything about marketing or Facebook ads, right? They learned it, and so could you. And if your business is that valuable to you, right? If you want the success of your business to make sure it happens, then you need to wear a lot of hats. You need to learn those things. You feel me? So Mark is asking me, with the websites, will there be some help with SEO? Yeah, we're having that discussion now because I sat through a whole session. And what we basically did is we went on the back end. And there's an SEO section in WordPress. And I kid you not, the lights are all red. That means it's not optimized. And there's different things you have to do to get each light to come up green. It's not that hard to do. But from everything I've read and from talking to a few people that are well versed and do websites for a living, they said that's pretty much what's done. When you talk about SEO optimization, that's optimizing your website so it ranks higher. There's a whole checklist in the back end of WordPress that you go through methodically and get them to turn green. And there's a step-by-step process. And if you get them all to turn green, there's a certain amount of keywords, you know, how many times you put, in my case, San Francisco Martial Arts on the home page, that turns that light from red to green. There's a certain amount of things that need to happen to optimize that website, a certain amount of things. And do I believe I want to pay you $199 a month for that, or $297, whatever? Absolutely not. Do I want to take that same amount of money over a year and spend it on taking a workshop on Facebook ads or understanding those things? Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, I agree with the website. Stock photos seem like fraud to me. Well, you know, and I think what happens is, imagine if you're a consumer and you're shopping in your town and you and another person have the same company designing your website. There's definitely some similarities in content. I've seen it. There's similarities in pictures. I've seen it, you know, and then I'm going, wow, do I trust that person? Right off the bat, I think it perpetuates distrust. And Roland said this to me, Roland Osborne. If somebody likes you, they'll be your friend. If they trust you, they'll do business with you. The goal is to build trust. And I saw a website the other day, and there was a pagoda, like this big, like that scene in The Matrix where Lawrence Fishburne fought Keanu Reeves. Remember when they were training in the simulator? And it was in that big tatami dojo looking thing. Somebody had that at the back of their website. Now tell me, what kind of disconnect would that be when I walk into your school and it's in a little bitty strip mall and you have 1,400 square feet with jigsaw mats on the floor? Is there going to be any kind of disconnect there? What do you think? Possibly? Possibly? What if I go to you and say, I want to verify those 2 testimonials at your website. Can I have the name and number of those parents or some way to contact them? And you're going, well, those aren't my parents and those aren't my testimonials. How do you think that's going to go down? Anybody? I don't know, Mark, if it's SEO yeast. I forgot what it was, but I remember sitting there and the web designer sitting there educating me on that process. And I go, really? Is that all it is? You swear that's all it is? He goes, yeah, that's all it is. And the way the software's set up in WordPress on the back end or Squarespace, you know, you can literally go in there and optimize it by that simple process. Turn all those red lights green. And that alone is going to help optimize the website itself. So again, learning about these things and educating myself. The other thing I'm learning about technology, it moves at a breakneck speed. This information I'm giving you right now might be useless in 3 months. So you have to constantly study this, stay abreast, take workshops. There's so many online YouTube stuff that's floating around out there. Really good stuff too. And you got to weed through that, but it's out there. Next question, please. Hey, what's happening, Keith, Chris? Try to come on a little earlier for you tonight, Chris. What do you got for me, folks? Go. Pop in those questions. So, because to me, I think, you know, I was old enough, I'm old enough, when there were no computers and websites. So to me, the website is now replacing your business card. It's now replacing your yellow pages. Used to be yellow pages. But the big thing I'm also understanding is that we're creating landing pages. We're driving people to landing pages. If I want fitness kickboxing, I don't want to go to a home page with like these bunch of little windows, a kid picturing at a day camp, a picture of a kid at a birthday party. You know, here's my adult class, here's my youth class, here's my preschool class. I don't want to take them there. I want to take them to one place only. That is a fitness kickboxing landing page that's going to promote the benefits. That's going to capture their basic information so I could put them into an email flow, you know, of great content, not sell, sell, sell. I'm going to give them the schedule. I'm going to give them what they need. And we were talking about that today. What, you know, if I'm a mom and I go to a website and well, they might want a birthday party. Yeah, that's after the fact. If I'm there for a birthday party, I want to drive them directly to a birthday landing page. If they're there for day camp, all I want to drive them to do right away is a day camp page. But for them to hit a home page and hit another page and another to get to what they want, not a good choice. Not a good choice. So really take the time and effort. And you can do that with WordPress. You can customize it and make 2 different pages. Keep it consistent with the brand, you know, your logo on the same page. But you can literally They call it stacks. Where you can stack all these different elements, and it doesn't have to be every page looks exactly the same. You can go in there with websites now and design different pages with different functionality. But the big thing, and this is such a crime, when I see a lot of these websites, I saw one today, and it pops up, and the first thing it shows is 7 locations. And, it already looks crowded, and I'm on a desktop. Imagine when that stuff goes down to mobile. Is it mobile responsive? I checked a couple of them, and they weren't. I was like, whoa, that's 101 today. Because 60% of the searches and everything is being done on smartphones. If your mobile, if your website is not optimized for that, then are you missing the boat? Right now, you'll see at my homepage, it still sucks. It really sucks. But it's not hurting our business today. Look at our kickboxing page at onemartialarts.com. Look at our after-school page at onemartialarts.com. That's where we're heading. You put those up on your cell phone, they're going to look great. You put my homepage on your cell phone, it's going to suck. So you want to see the stark contrast? Go look at that. But I chose to do it this way because I really want to educate myself on the process. I want to understand how much of what these big companies are saying is actual truth and how much is just, feeding on my fear. They're the experts. I don't know anything. Well, if I don't know anything, then I'm going to educate myself. So I've chosen to do that. And it is taking a lot longer, but I'm cool with it when the day's done. All right? So think about that. Having your own website design, customize your photos, real testimonials they can verify through Yelp or whatever, right? A way to capture that lead, a call to action where they can sign up and buy something. Just the basics need to be there. But please, we're better than that. Sit down and ask yourself, why would I want to come to your school versus Joe Karate down the street, right? So here, Deandra's asking me, what is your biggest drive getting kids through the door besides the website? Well, I'm going to ask you this first, Deandra. If you're asking me how to get people through the door, I'm going to be led to believe your back door is wide open. Let me ask you this question, Deandra. How many students do you lose a month? Go. How many students do you lose a month? Type it in there, and then I'll answer your question. Because I get that a lot. A lot of people will, the first thing out of their mouth is, how do you get more students? How do you get more students? How do you get more students? What is the best way to market? And that would lead me to believe that you're either stuck or your school's going backwards and it's not growing, right? We do all need to market. That's a given. No matter how big or small your business is, everybody needs to market. Everybody does. It's going to be a forever thing. But if that's the only thing at the forefront of your brain, then I would led to believe there's some other things internally going wrong that I would address. Okay, you lose maybe 2 or 3 a month. All right, okay? You lose 2 or 3 a month. How many new students do you gain a month that actually sign up? Not trials. Do they convert from a trial to an active student? Go. Our website's actually just one of many elements. I wouldn't rate my website as the biggest thing that gets people through the door. I think everything gets people through the door. It really does, Deandra. Everything gets people through the door. I think, as we say at the top of our list, teach amazing classes. And I know these marketing people tell you, oh, it's bullshit. No, it isn't. If I go to a great restaurant and the food is great, I'm going to eat there again and again. I'm going to tell my friends about it. I go to a restaurant and the food's awful. 1, I'll never eat there again. 2, I'll probably write a bad review at Yelp. And 3, I'll tell my friends never to eat there. So number 1, I think the best way to get students through the door, is to teach amazing classes. They're fun, they're sweating, they're smiling, as Kyoshi Kovar would say, and is your content relevant? Is it age appropriate, skill level appropriate? Are the parents satisfied? If I'm there for my kid to learn confidence and, you're yelling at him, make him do 10 push-ups if he doesn't do it right, that's not going to build his confidence. It will diminish it, right? So Deandra's saying, okay, you lose 2 to 3 a month and you gain 4 or 5. So you're at about net 1 student. That's what that means, Deandra. That means in 1 year from now, based upon data, right? This is data. So you lose 2 or 3 and you gain 4 or 5. So every month you're netting 2 students. I'll be generous. You're netting 2 students. So based upon that data, Deandra, in 1 year's time, you would have had 24 students. 24 students. You've increased your student base by 24, right? In 1 year's time. Does that sound good to you? Type it in. See, I'm a big data guy, Deandra. I like data because data doesn't lie. You know, everyone has said I'm a great teacher. Nobody leaves me. I retain all my students. Everybody signs up. But data says you have 100 students. You've been open 20 years. So, no, that's not the way it goes. And data proves that again and again. You feel me? So, think about it, Deandra. Are you happy with that? Of course not, right? I mean, we're at 328 in 16 months. Wow, right? Those are amazing numbers for most anybody, right? And people are telling me that. But, you know, we had aimed for 300 in the first year. And we're at like I don't know, what we're at, 285 in 12 months. I think that's good. We came close. But we have very clear goals. Then we work to achieve them, not by selling and having quotas. And that's yucky to me. Why spend my energy trying to make a quota? There's no long-term anything in that. It's just simply close the deal, close the deal, close the deal, close the deal. Doesn't matter. I got to close the deal. That is at the forefront of my lobe. That's what I believe in. That's what I need to do, right? So Deandra's going on. My main concern is maintaining. My main concern is maintaining. I'm an old school instructor. I'm not extremely hard on a student, but I'm not going to baby them at the same time. I'm more concerned about the future of our studio. You're more concerned about the future of the studio than babying a student. Does that make sense? You're more concerned about the future of our studio versus babying the student. Okay. Now, if I'm a 4-year-old kid in your preschool class, and let's say my parent brings me late, and I'm bummed out because I'm late, so I'm crying and I don't want to get on the floor. Are you going to yell at that kid? Or are you going to baby them and tell them, hey, it's all right. I'm just grateful you made it to class at all. Dry your eyes. Let's get you on the floor. We're going to have a great time today learning about focus or whatever the case may be. You know, I'm an old school instructor too, Deandra. My dad's school is, you know, right down the street from where you guys are at. I think that's not... Then if you're an old school, learn something new. You know? Learn something new. If you're being old school, stopping the future of your school from growing and making a sustainable, growth-oriented business, then you need to make some changes. You can be traditional, like Roland Osborne says. Respect tradition, but embrace innovation. I believe in that. You want to embrace innovation. And you got to do that. And I'm proud of my black belts. They're hard. They're good fighters, everything else. But, you know, we make sure that we teach in contemporary teaching methods based upon child psychology and the way kids think today. Kids are different today than they were 10 years ago. And understanding how they think and working with that to inspire them and grow that, right, is a good thing. So that's like a double-edged sword. When I hear that, Deandra, I'm an old school, you know, and I'm not hard on them, but I don't want to baby them. I hear conflict right there. I'm not hard on them, but I don't want to baby them. Well, maybe you need to choose one side of the row. Either be hard on them or baby them. You know? Absolutely not. I encourage them to get on the mat, but I'm not going to speak to them like they're adults at the same time. Okay. That's okay. You know, I wouldn't speak to a kid either like they were an adult. Right? That's what we call a soft system. If we have here's an example. We have a rule. You greet everybody that comes through the door within 5 seconds. Okay? So when they come in that door, we say, hey, welcome to One Martial Arts. If they're 5, I'm going to say, hey, what's up, Johnny? Boom, and give them a little high five. If it's a dad coming through the door, good afternoon, sir. Welcome to One Martial Arts. If it's a teenager, what's up? Welcome to One Martial Arts. Boom, little fist bump. Absolutely, I'm not going to talk to them like they're an adult. But what I'm hearing, and I'm not going to call you out particular, but I'm going to challenge you. I say to myself all the time, I'm my own best friend, I'm my own best enemy. Every day I wake up and choose which one I'm going to be. And I choose to be my own best friend. And in order to be my own best friend, I can't limit my thinking at all. At all. I have to be open to the endless possibilities that exist there to be a better instructor, to better my curriculum, improve upon what I do. And if being old school, which means set in my ways and my mindset, that's going to limit me. It just is. It just is. I need to understand, because my purpose is to serve people. How can I serve the student better? No two kids are the same. They each respond differently. I need to teach that way. You feel me? So think about that, Deandra. You know, I just want you to be mindful of that in this process. And if you want to be an old school instructor and teach a certain way, and, you know, you're going to have X number of students, and I don't know how many students you have right now, and that number's not going to grow. It's not. And you don't have to water down and dumb down and baby people to grow your school. You just have to improve the curriculum, improve the service, know who your demographic is, know who you're serving, and serve at that level. That's it. It's long and short of that. All right, anybody else got any questions before I get out of here tonight? We've had a pretty good session. I like the stuff coming down the pipe. I love the stuff coming down the pipe. So those of you who are sitting in from the Super Show, again, I'm sorry I'm not there. I was in a wedding in Jamaica. Since you decided to do things differently this year and shake it up with the 15th year anniversary. Plus, I'm in the process of rebranding our One Merit badges. It's going to be called Kids Love Life Skills, new website. We're bettering the curriculum. There's a bunch of stuff that we're doing that's really, really exciting. So I'm looking forward to that. If you need me, I'm at brannonbeliso.com. I'll be in Seattle on July 24th. I hope you choose to join me in Seattle. It's going to blow your mind. Like somebody said after the last one, you make my brain bleed. And I thought that was it. You make my brain bleed. Okay? So, anything else? Any burning desires before I head on out of here? Because I love to serve you. I don't want to leave you. If you got a question, I want to leave you hanging. We good? All right. This is Brannon Beliso, folks. If you need me, go to brannonbeliso.com. Until then, go out there and make a difference.